I was wrong about Forza Horizon 4. Since the beginning, I've been pretty skeptical about Forza Horizon 4, like I am pretty much with every Forza release. The game was announced with the idea of being pretty much identical to the previous two, and the only take-home new feature being the seasons, which I must say, the community, for the most part, liked. But I'd say a big bulk of the vocal comments about how the seasons was portrayed on YouTube, at least, they didn't really like it. The hardcore community were like, we don't want this. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like the newest feature they've ever added. Everything else is the same. So anyway, leading up to the launch and even past the launch, I was expecting the exact same old as per usual. Now, don't get me wrong by any stretch. I never really said that I dislike how it is. I was still going to buy the game. I still played the game, but I knew for a fact I would be wanting more after a very short period of time, seeming as it's going to be pretty similar to the previous titles. The game launched, and as always, I kind of felt it was a little soulless, and the whole everyone's a winner kind of Forza game that I just expected, and this is why I was a little bit worried. But then a new DLC launched, which was another Storm Island, and I guess if you didn't play Storm Island, that was great. And that's the fundamental issue I have with Forza. Now, overall, everybody likes Forza. They think it's great. And it is a very solid game. But I have played since Horizon 2 every single one consecutively in a row. And you come to realize when you start buying them in a row that they are pretty much the same game. Now, not that that's an issue. If you like the formula and you can withstand keep buying the same game over and over again, then that's great. With Call of Duty, for me, for example, I purchased 2 or 3 of them and then stopped. And the recent one I only just bought. But the last one I bought before stopping was Black Ops because I felt like I had played it to death. I kind of get the same feeling with Forza there, where if I was not a YouTuber per se, if I was not making videos on the racing games, I don't particularly think I would be in a rush to pick the game up again. But things changed a little bit recently, and I personally think for the better. Playground Games introduced the seasonal playlist, which in my personal original opinion sounded great on the surface. You might know my good friend Nick from AR12 Gaming. Well, he made a video talking about an issue with this and that it became a total grind fest to get any of these cars. Now, for those that don't know, generally what would happen is every new season, a new car would be introduced to the game, or a locked away car would be introduced to the game, or a reskinned car would be. You would have to complete one set of 3 or 4 races, which were the same every single month. You unlocked that car, and that was it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't even think you had to win. I don't even think you had to position very highly at the very least to get this car, and I don't think you had to choose a specific difficulty to get this car. It was pretty simple. But ultimately, it introduced new cars to the game in a way for people, say, that like a little bit more of a rewarding feeling to get those things. So it made a once easy process a little bit more difficult. And the community didn't react well to that, to say the very least. A lot of them threw everything in the air, thought, oh, this is rubbish. And I just thought, you know what? I don't think this is rubbish. I think this is what Forza needs. And then I played it. How long have you been waiting for it to do it now? Just match, mate! Oh my god!
Why do you slam into that guy?
Because some... Oh, for oh, come off it! They're trying to kill me. They're genuinely trying to kill me. My view changed the most rapidly I have ever changed an opinion as soon as I jumped into the whole experience. You needed 50% to get one of the more important cars, and then usually the 100% cars are the more reskinned cars, or cars that we've had chance to get before, but I didn't have because I just never bothered. But after the full first month of this new system, I've got to say I actually really like it. And that's where I was wrong. It's not without its flaws. I can't sit here and tell you that it's not without its flaws, because it massively has major flaws. It's terribly boring to play. I don't know who in the hell wants to sit and do 50 races, about at the most. Sure, you can do less, but 50 races to be ranked, because most people don't play the ranked. 50 races to get, what, 10% towards one of these cars? What are you taking the team races against driver cars, which sounds on the surface like it would be pretty great. But then you remember the Forza community, at least that play the game, seem to be bloody brain dead, and they ram you, their teammate, off the road because you're about to overtake them. It doesn't make any sense. To the point where the only way to actually usually win is by doing a race, realizing that people aren't going to win, so they leave. Then you get more points per person because there's less of you. That's the best way to win. And one of the major issues I have with it is that the races each month that they have available on this, well, for the next month, I imagine it's going to be the same because it has been from launch. Why in the hell are these just renamed races that are already in the game? Update 1 added a community creator. You have amazingly talented people out there, not me, that make amazing races. Why would you not select some of those and make those the special events to unlock the cars? To me, that's just, it's pure common sense. But ultimately, this update has brought me to play the game and actually want to get the cars. It wasn't very clear before for those that really didn't have an interest in playing the events. I liked to play with the cars. That's what Forza is to me, only because I don't enjoy doing the events. There's no kind of reward. I have as much money as I'll ever need after a few races. The cars, especially, for example, this week was the M3 GTR and the Z4. Amazing. Fantastic. Everyone that I know of wants to get these bloody cars. To me, it made a more hidden away feature, more forefrontal. So when you jump on the game, you can actually see it right in your face and what you need to do. And that way, more people go, oh, I can get this car this week? Amazing. Jump in and I will do that. It gives me purpose after beating the game. There was no real progression in the game, but even if you had completed it, or if you hadn't, this still pops up and it gives you guided progression, which normally Forza doesn't do. It took a hidden away system and made it forefrontal, that made it so that you can unlock reskinned cars. But seriously, some of them are okay, some of them are not. So this is my video saying that I was wrong. I made one of these about the Crew 2 around the launch. When they came out and said they're going to support the game each season and have new events each season, we know that was a lie still, but they are adding new content as they did promise. There's new cars. They've recreated this new whole menu system to make it easier and more understandable about how you jump in and unlock those cars. The system isn't perfect. They've improved it since launch and made it a little bit less grindy, but still, to me, there's 50 events. I think it's a step in the right direction for the series, and I hope to see more improvements on it in the future on this game, and also more so, I don't really care about the motorsport, but also in the next Horizon series, because to me, an open world game, if you give me everything at once, I just feel like I play with the stuff that I know I want to play with. I don't really experience anything new except when I do these challenges now, which most people don't do challenges with their friends like this. It gives you that balance where it's not massively grinded to get the cars that most people want, which is usually the 50% cars, but then it also gives you, for people like myself, that little bit extra grind if we want to get the best stuff. And overall, this system has worked. They released it to do what? To get people to be playing the game more. And it worked because they had to do 50 races. Some of the cars are usually reskins or cars that were in previous games and they've just locked them away, which I do find a little bit awkward. But some of them you can end up buying on the marketplace anyway. If you've got a friend with them, they'll be probably willing to give you it. It's added much more value to the series, and it shows to me that they're still able to play with this stuff and experiment with this stuff and see what they can do to get more players playing for longer. And ultimately, that's all I want. So I'm very happy that how Forza Horizon 4 has turned out. To me, it's gone from being another Forza Horizon to going to be possibly one of the best Horizons other than Horizon 1, because Horizon 1 is still the best. I guess the final mention is also due here because we are due another DLC super soon, which to me excites me. I personally think we're going to probably be waiting a little bit until maybe E3 time as to when we see that expansion, generally because there is not going to be a mainline Forza this year. I poked a little bit of fun at the Storm Island 2.0 kind of thing because it was very much similar. It wasn't really anything I hadn't experienced before in a Forza title, so that is why I was a bit like, is this it? But I am very much looking forward to the next DLC. The second DLC is usually the bigger one, the one with a lot more work, a lot more creativity. Last time they had Hot Wheels, which particularly I wouldn't say I loved the DLC, but I very much got enjoyment out of it because it was so different. It was just not something you would expect Forza, if anyone, to bloody do. What I'm hoping is that they keep on the continuation of what they're doing here and rewarding those that actually play the game with some awesome, cool stuff. And even if you don't, having something new to experience in general is something I really want. don't do another Hot Wheels. You've already done it. I would love to know your thoughts down below. You can disagree with me. You can agree with me. I would love to know your feedback on it because, again, ultimately, I am one person. You guys are also people playing the game, and if not, then I'm going to say you're actually missing out. Be sure to smash the like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.